Hey folks, it's just a quick update on the turn signals in my ATC headlights. If you watched my video that debuted just this past Saturday, you'll know that I tried to wire up the marker lights and the running lights in the halos and kind of failed miserably. And that was mainly because I had the wrong wire. I retried later in the week and failed again, but that was for a different reason. The plugs for my side marker lights had like a weird ground/connection problem, which I've now fixed with the help of my dad, who's a lot better with electronics than I am because he's got a lot more experience. So we figured that out, and now my turn signals and marker lights work again, which is a good start. And now I'm trying to get the actual marker lights in the ATC headlights to work right. So what I want to do, because I think, so in that last video I shared some incorrect information. I said that the side marker lights were a single filament, and that's because I was looking at the fender flare mounted side marker light, and that is indeed a single filament. But that's because it sort of piggybacks off of the front marker light, which you can see here. The front marker light is dual filament. And so what I'm going to do is, so there's basically 3 leads running to it. Ground, and then one for turn signal, and one for marker light. So what I had hoped to do was make the orange halo in the ATC marker light, or the ATC headlight, work as both a marker light and a turn signal light. And it doesn't seem like that's going to work. So unless there's some crafty way to wire that, I don't think there would be, unless I rigged up something with a relay where when the marker light, when the parking lights were on and I turned on the turn signal, it turned off the power for the marker. That might make the turn signal work, but that's sketchy. I don't really like it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to wire up the halo in the ATC to be just a turn signal. So I'm going to show you which wire to use on the passenger side, because that's what I have pulled apart at the moment, and that's the side I've been testing on. And then once I get that working, I'm going to figure out what wire I need on the driver's side and do the same thing there. So I'm in this wiring loom that runs along the inside of the passenger fender. Let me zoom out so you can see where I'm at. And I had actually figured this out before, but then I found out that my front marker lights weren't working, and I had to step back to figure that out before I continued with these. So you can see it's already been patched into here once, because I had a Vampire on there, and I had the lead to my headlight patched into it as well, and it was working, but then I found out that the side marker lights weren't working. So I'm going to repatch this, but this wire goes straight to the front-mounted side marker light, and it is white with a brown stripe. If I patch into this, I should get turn signal, but not marker light, out of the ATC. So I'm going to patch that in, and then we're going to try it, and then I'll start figuring out the passenger side. So you can see the light is working now. I use one of these little, some people call them Vampire connectors, some people call them patch connectors, whatever. There's lots of names people use for these things, but whatever. I patched it in there. This runs to, if memory serves, it is the green lead. I'm getting myself all muddied at this point. To the connector on the ATC headlight. There's also a red lead, which is for the running light, or the daytime running light. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically clean this up a bit, tie this wire in, maybe work it inside of the loom or something, I don't know. And then this side is, as far as I can tell, done. So basically it'll work as a turn signal, and when I get the daytime running light hooked up, the daytime running light will light white. And when the turn signal comes on, the white turns off, the turn signal does its thing, and then the white comes back on a moment later. So it interrupts the white. It doesn't just like blend them or something. So that'll be decent, right? So at least I have this working. I'm happy with that. I would love it if I could make that work as a marker light as well, but if I turn on the marker light now, you'll see that that is dark and this is lit, which is fine. I'm just going to settle for that. So that's the passenger side. I'm going to get the driver's side looked into now. Okay, so on the passenger side, on the back of the light fixture, there's a green and white stripe, or sorry, a white with a green stripe, a white with a yellow stripe, and a ground. The white with the yellow stripe, I have a sneaking suspicion, runs to the side marker light, because that's how it is on the other side. And the green with a white stripe, sorry, white with a green stripe, I found up here, which I have tapped into with my little needle trick. Maybe I should talk a little bit about that. This basically, the idea here is I took a needle from a sewing machine and I pierced the insulation on the wire so I can connect a meter to it. And as you can tell, I have it flashing at the moment. The meter's going insane, but that's because these digital meters can't keep up as well as the analog meters. I have an analog meter, but this is the one I had handy. So basically, if you had an analog meter, you'd see this thing peg up to like around 20 or 12 volts and then drop back down, and it'd be in synchronization with the flash of the light. So maybe I'll grab my DC analog meter and show you, just for demonstration's sake. So there you go, if you can see that. If I lower, or I should say raise the sensitivity on the meter, you see it's a lot more dramatic here. But even the needle can't keep up with it because the flash is so fast because of that relay. But you can see it spiking and dropping, and that's exactly what you want. If you're on the ground side of this, it's not as pronounced, which is the problem I ran into on the passenger side. I found what I thought was the right wire, but I was actually on the negative side, and it wasn't good enough for the light. So that tells me we found the right wire, I think. So there we go, Scotch lock connection, vampire connection to the white with a green stripe through this little black wire. I got lazy on this side. On the other side, I soldered leads on. On this side, I just crimped a damn spade connector on because I'm getting sick of this project. I mean, I love this project. It's great. I'm glad I'm bringing it to you guys. Anyway, it's connected to the green wire on the light, so theoretically now I should be able to put on this marker light. Turn signal is on, light is flashing. Moment of truth, folks. Ah, look at that. Functional. So during my fiddling, whatever made the ground go out also killed that light. The bulb works for turn signal, but not for marker light. So I figured that out. So now I got to get a new bulb over there. Once I get a new bulb, this project is freaking done. So there you go. That's just a quick update on the ATC AllTerrain Concepts. It's just a quick update on the AllTerrain Concepts headlights. I have the marker lights working now. I have not decided how I want to wire up the daytime running lights yet, but that'll come. If you look at my video, I called it the February update, I think it was, and wiring fail, because I did such a terrible job at these lights in that video. Anyway, if you go watch that video, you can see how the lights are supposed to work. And once I get the running lights connected, I'll probably give you a quick demo of how they operate. But in all, there we go. They work now. Pretty simple. If you found this video trying to learn how to connect the ATC, these are the ATC Vaders that I've got. If you found this video because you were trying to figure out how to wire up those two leads, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how I tested them. So basically, there's a green lead and a red lead that are separate from the light harness on the ATC Vaders. And I assume this is the same for other ATC lights, and maybe other vendor lights. I've seen other lights that have a similar wiring. What I did is I ran a test lead from the positive end, or just from the positive of the battery, to each of those to see which light lit up. And that's how I figured out which one was which. green is for the turn signal light, the orange light, and the red is for the running light. So red will be white. Maybe I'll patch in a quick video of how they operate, but basically in my testing I found that if you connect the green lead to power, if you connect the red lead to power, you have the running light on, right? And then you also connect power to the red lead, then the white will turn off, the orange will come on, and then when the orange goes back off again, the white will stay off for a couple seconds. And I'll show you that. I'll patch it in, because I did get video of that when I was doing the lights to begin with. So what that gives you is a nice clear turn signal marker, which is pretty cool, I think. So good on ATC for wiring that up the way they did. But anyway, on the passenger side, you want to patch into, if you can see this, I'm going to patch into this lead, which is white with a brown stripe, which is the turn signal light lead that comes to the passenger side front marker light. If you're on a Jeep that these lights don't, or that these colors don't match up, if you trace them to the front marker light, not the side marker light. The side marker light is somehow passively connected to the front marker light. Okay, so keep that in mind. On the driver's side, it is a white wire with a green stripe that you want to patch into, and that'll get you the turn signal lights. Now, like I said, I don't have the daytime running lights connected yet. I really think what I want to do is switch those, right? And by what I mean by switch is I want to connect them through a switch, so that if I'm in a situation where I want the Jeep running, but I do not want the halo, you know, the marker light on, not marker, the running light on, I can turn it off by choice, okay? So that's a thing that I'm going to eventually get wired up. Maybe I won't even switch it, but I really want the option to be able to turn it off, right? So if I'm idling and I don't want that light on, I don't have to have it on. If I just wire it to 12 volts from where the engine is running, then it's going to be on all the time with no choice, and I don't really want that. So that's about it. That ties it up. Basically, connecting them is relatively simple. You just need to find the right wire and hook it up. I recommend the spade connector idea. On this side, the driver's side, I used a spade connector plugged right into the harness on the ATC. Everything's cool. On the passenger side, I gave myself a lot more aggravation by cutting off the factory spade connector, or female spade connector, that ATC includes with the light, and soldering this extension lead on. I initially did that because, one, I didn't think I had any spade connectors handy, and I didn't want to run out to the store to buy any. And two, I thought it would be better, I thought it would just hold up better because it's a more positive connection with soldering. You can solder them if you want to. If you're going to solder them, I recommend that you take the light out of the Jeep, solder the extension leads on, put it back in the Jeep, because there's just not enough room to work under here. And especially on this side, there's even less room to get your hands in here. So that's why I didn't deal with it, because I didn't want to pull the light out because I'm feeling lazy at the moment. So I'm going to clean up all this wiring and button it up, and then things are done. So if you tuned in for this, thanks for watching. Remember, you can support me via Patreon, and you can go buy SWBCrawler gear at SWBCrawler.com if you want to self-support the channel. If you don't want to do any of that, please just go ahead and subscribe, hit that cool little like button, and check out my other videos if you haven't seen them. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hey you! You stuck around to the end of the video. You're awesome! You should probably hit the subscribe link up over here, and make sure you hit the notification bell, otherwise YouTube's not going to actually tell you when I produce something new. You can also support me via Patreon by clicking the link up over here. And if you like this video, you should probably check out the recommended content that's coming up down over here. If you want merch like I'm wearing right here, you should go to SWBCrawler.com and check out my shirts and hats and whatever else I've got for sale. Thanks for watching.